Welcome to Module 6 of the Freedom Ticket. In this module, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what's called Seller Central. This is the back end, the kind of the behind the scenes area where all sellers who sell products on Amazon have to have an account. This is where you're going to manage your product listings, you're going to upload your pictures and your pricing, you're going to control your inventory, you're going to get reports from Amazon on all kinds of things that are happening, your sales reports and customer inquiries and all that kind of stuff. It's all going to happen on what's called Seller Central. In order to set that up, you're going to want to go to this website, services.amazon.com. You'll see that up here at the top, services.amazon.com. And here you're going to be actually able to set up your seller account. Now you might want to do this right away, or if you're just beginning, you might want to wait a few months and do it after you've picked your product. But you're definitely going to need to have this set up before you can really start the manufacturing process, because you're going to need to go in here and create some labels and do some of the barcodes and stuff that you're going to have to give your manufacturer. Now, it does cost about $40 per month to sell. Now, the beautiful thing is if you do sign up today, and let's say you don't start selling for 6 months or something, Amazon will oftentimes refund you that money. If you just send in an email to them and say, hey, look, I set up my account. I've been paying $40 a month for the last 6 months, and I'm just now starting to sell. Most of the time, I'm not guaranteeing it, but most of the time, they'll go ahead and they'll actually refund that back to you. Or if you want to wait, you can wait, but it's kind of a good idea to go in there and start familiarizing yourself with everything, because as we go through the course, I'm going to be referring to a lot of stuff in Seller Central. Now, you can come here and you can take a look at all the benefits and how it works, and you can go through all this kind of stuff. You can also see here that you can sign up in all the different countries that Amazon is in. They're constantly adding new ones to this. But so if you want to sell in the UK or in one of the other marketplaces, you could go there and sign up in that marketplace. But for the purpose of this course, we're just going to focus on Amazon.com in the US. And they've got a bunch of other information here. It just talks about all kinds of different stuff. Now, if you just have a few items to sell, you can click right here where it says sign up to become an individual seller. Now this one is a little bit different. You don't have to pay the $40 per month, but for most of us that are taking the Freedom Ticket course, you're going to want to actually sign up for the full-blown $40 per month, because it's going to give you a lot of additional features and benefits. Now once you go in, you actually click to sign up. You're going to want to make sure you have, no matter which way you do it, you're going to want to make sure you have these 4 things ready: your business name and address. So you're going to need to know your business name and the address of your business. It might be a post office box. It might be the same as your house if you're working from your house. You're going to need your mobile or telephone number. You're going to need a credit card and a valid bank account. You have to have a credit card because that's Amazon won't actually pay you if you don't have a credit card on file. It's kind of a backup, so that if you run advertising or you have some fees, they can charge you for them if you're not making money. And then you're going to need your tax information. And all this is explained to you right here. If you need some additional information, you can just click and get it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to enter your legal name. So if I enter a legal name, Kevin King Inc. or whatever your legal name is, you're going to read the terms and agree to them. You're going to click next. And then it's going to ask you for your business address, your unique name. Now this name is what's going to show up on Amazon. This is going to be your display name. So the first name that we entered is like your corporate name. So I entered Kevin King Inc. That's like my corporate name. That's what my bank account is under. That's what checks are made payable to. This name here is more like your storefront name. This is the name that's going to appear on Amazon as your storefront. So your corporate name, a lot of times, is not seen by the public. This name right here will be seen by the public. So this might be Kevin's surf store, or it might be Kevin's Surf Products, or Baby Products from the East, or whatever it may be. This is your business name to display on Amazon. This doesn't have to be registered as a full business name like with the government. This is more of like your storefront name. It could be an abbreviation or whatever. Then you're going to enter, if you have a URL, you can enter that. Then you're going to enter a mobile phone number. They're going to send you a PIN. And you'll just follow this whole process all the way through. You're going to have to enter some billing and deposit information, and then some some basic product information. Now this 4th step on the product information, you probably won't be able to fill that out right now. So it will allow you to skip that, but you can set up the basic account. Now sometimes they'll ask for some additional verification. They may ask you for a utility bill, driver's license or some additional information just to verify who you are. It depends on the country you're signing up from and the location. There's different people will have different experiences, but just be prepared for that. If that happens, they may want some additional information from you. So that's the basics of signing up for the Seller Central account. Now let's go and take a look inside. Once you have your account set up, this is what the back end of Seller Central looks like. So when you log in, a lot of people are logging in here every day or at least once a week to check all their stats, to get all the reports. This is what it looks like on the back end. The customer will never see this. This is just for you as a seller. I'm just going to show you, there's a lot of details in here, and a lot of these we'll be covering in other modules in the course, but I'm just going to show you some of the highlights here that you want to pay attention to. And the first thing here is you'll notice across the top there's these different tabs, and these are all the different sections of Seller Central. B2B is for selling to other businesses, so if you can set up as a B2B seller, so a business-to-business seller. This is great for office products and things like that. The App Store is where you can actually discover different software tools. You all know Helium 10, but if you're looking for something very specific that maybe Helium 10 doesn't do, you can find this kind of stuff in the App Store. The performance shows you all the history of your account. It's going to show you how good your return rates, your feedback from customers, all kinds of stuff here. We'll go through some of this in just a minute. Your reports are all your reports for payment, your business reports, your fulfillment reports, your advertising reports, and your customer returns, that kind of thing. Amazon sends out a tax document at the end of each year to reports to the IRS in the US how much money you generated. So you can download that stuff here. This is where you can set up storefronts. This is where you can set up all your advertising, where you can set up your ads. You can actually set up what's called enhanced brand content. You can do the early reviewer program, set up deals and coupons and do giveaways and all kinds of different kind of things here, promotions. We're going to go through all these, and there's a module on each one of these later, so don't worry too much about these right now. Here's where you can actually see your orders, where you can see all the orders that are coming in. You can manage your returns, that kind of thing. This is where you can set some of your pricing for your products. The inventory is where you're going to actually be sending in inventory and managing your inventory. There's a couple modules later on that walks you through the exact details of all that, so I'm not going to go into detail on a lot of these things right here. And the catalog is just where you can add products. So it's really easy to add products, and we have a whole module on that as well later. So don't worry about the very specifics right there. You can also, if you're set up in other countries, you can have what's called a unified account in the United States, where you can actually sell in the United States, Canada, and Mexico all under the same account. And if you have that happen, you can actually pull this down here, and you'll see Amazon Canada and Amazon Mexico. So you can switch between these right here, and you can see like this particular test account right here. It's going to show zeros. This is not selling in Canada, but you can get all your Canadian information if you happen to be selling in Canada. And the same with Mexico if you happen to be selling in Mexico. Most people, when they start out, they just start out selling in the United States. So most of you are just going to be dealing with the .com. But later on, you might want to sell in Canada or Mexico. They can add anywhere from 3 to 10% to your sales by doing that. But don't worry about those in the beginning. I would focus on the U.S. marketplace. You can toggle the language here if English is not your native language. Amazon will post some messages to you here. In the settings, you have all kinds of settings where you can change your password. You can set your return settings. We'll go through a lot of these in later modules and talk to them in detail. You can set up permissions, like if you want to give someone else access to your account. Maybe you're working with a team and you want to give your accountant access to the reports, but you don't want them to be able to mess with the listings and change the pictures. You can do that. Or maybe you have a consultant you're working with, and you want them to be able to see certain sections. You can come in here and give them permissions. You have your tax settings, your information policies, the fulfillment by Amazon has quite a few things inside it as well, where you can set up all these different settings. We'll go through some of these in other modules, so don't worry about them too much right now. But this is basically the engine that drives everything. Like here in the user permissions, if you're working with a partner or a consultant or something, and so I can show that they get access to which module. The settings, there's a lot more info. You can update your account info, your address, your password, that kind of stuff in here. Shipping settings is more for mainly if you're doing fulfilled by merchant, but you can come in here and set up ship settings. Most of you won't really mess with this because you're going to be dealing with FBA. But if you are doing fulfilled by merchant, there's some general settings there. You have options for returns. What does Amazon do when someone returns a product? You can actually say if you want to authorize returns or not authorize returns. This is more for fulfilled by merchant than it is FBA. Most FBA is automatic returns. But you can see there's lots of different things in here, so you can go play around in here. But let's go back to the main areas of Seller Central. Over here, these are your orders. Most of these are fulfilled by merchant, so you're not going to see too many things over here if you're doing FBA. This will show you the FBA part right here, fulfilled by Amazon. So on the last day, this account's had 10 orders sent out. In the last 7 days, it's had 56. You get performance here. This will show you if you have messages from your buyers. When you get a message from a customer, you have to answer it within 24 hours. If you don't, and that includes weekends and holidays, if you don't, you can actually have a ding on your seller performance. It can actually hurt you. So you want to try to get those answers as quickly as possible. It'll tell you right here if maybe you missed something. It'll show you if you're under the 24-hour target or over the 24-hour target. This customer feedback is not reviews. This is customers. Like Amazon automatically sends out an email and they ask you to rate the seller. And so this is more about the seller. This is not your reviews. This is more of a seller feedback, but this is an important number. You want to try to keep this as high to 5 stars as possible. It's on a scale of 0 to 100. You really want to stay above like a 98. Otherwise, it can hurt you if you later on want to get an Amazon loan, or if you're trying to get lightning deals or something like that. This rating can affect you. And usually, some things will not become available to you on Amazon until you get to at least 5 of these. So until you get to 5 of these, there'll be some features that aren't available. Over here, you can see the latest news from Amazon. If they have any announcements and stuff, you can click there to see more. They have a selling coach. I typically ignore this because I don't find it, for me personally, to be very valuable or accurate. So I usually ignore this. Maybe you'll get something out of it and you can take a look at it. They get some other stuff here about growing your business and some certifications. I don't really mess with any of this kind of stuff too. They also, if you want, they'll try to promote you to sell in other marketplaces. They usually have a little poll going on. I pretty much ignore that. Now this one here, this inventory planning, is a really important one. So like these that you don't use much, you can actually click right here and just say collapse it, so you don't have to see it. So you can kind of customize this in any way you want, so you don't have to see stuff that you don't really care to see. The inventory planning one's a very important one. We'll talk about that more later, but you want to keep this score above a 350, because if this goes below a 350, Amazon will restrict how much inventory you can send into them. So maybe you're trying to send some new products in, and you have 500 of them, but they won't let you do it. They won't, because if your score is too low, that means that you're not selling a lot. That means you've shipped a lot of stuff to Amazon. It's staying in their warehouse, and it's not moving. It's taking up space, and they don't like that. Amazon doesn't want to become a warehouse. They're a fulfillment company, so they like stuff coming in and going out as quickly as possible. They don't want you storing stuff there for 6 months or a year. They actually charge storage fees. You'll see about that later in another module. You have monthly storage fees for every month, depending on how much space you're taking up in the warehouse. You'll have a small fee, and they also charge what's called long-term storage fees twice a year, usually in February and August, and that's for stuff that's been sitting in their warehouses for 6 months or more, and they sock it to you. They like really charge you a pretty big penalty for having that stuff. So you want to make sure this score stays above a 350 at all possible, and that means you got to watch your inventory. It'll give you an idea of how many days of inventory you have, make suggestions on things you might want to restock. Now you can see this whole inventory dashboard if you come here to this. You can also get to it other places, but they'll show you all kinds of stuff here, like what you might really want to restock, the age of your inventory, so you can take a look at all that kind of stuff. You can manage things up here. Stranded inventory is inventory that Amazon has received, but they can't match it up. Maybe the barcode was missing or packaging got damaged. They can't kind of figure it out. That's what that is. Also, back on the main page, you have what everybody likes to see is your sales summary right here. You can also see this. There's an app, so you can download the app. There's a mobile app that you can get this kind of stuff too. But it shows you that today, and this is all on Pacific time, so like Seattle time, same as California time in the United States. That's when it resets every day at midnight every day Pacific time. So today, this particular account's had $119 in sales, eight items sold. That was the 7 days, the 15 days, and the last 30 days. And then you can click here if you want to see more of the statistics. So that's a great little quick summary that you can see. Up here is the payment summary, and this one will show you your last payments made. Amazon typically pays you every 2 weeks. If you have a brand new account that was created after 2016, then you're going to have a slight delay. If your account was created before 2016 as a seller account, as a professional seller account, you're paying the $40 a month, then you won't have a hold. But all new accounts have it can be a couple weeks hold. Sometimes it's a little bit longer on your money. So they pay you every 2 weeks in most cases, but it actually might be for stuff that was a month previous, so that it could be a delay of up to a month. It just depends on your account and how the shipping works. But they add some extra time from the time it was delivered. So all new accounts have a hold on them until you kind of prove yourself. And at some point down the road, you can request that be lifted. But you need to keep that in mind as for your cash flow. Is there's going to be a slight delay. It's called a reserve, and it's just to make sure that there's no problems. Amazon had a big problem a couple years ago with people coming in and selling stuff really quickly, getting all the money, and then not delivering the goods. So they had to make a change in the system to make sure that everything gets delivered and there's no problems. So there's going to be a slight reserve. But this one here, remember I said you have to have a credit card on file. You see here that says there's a charge to the credit card. That's because this account ran some advertising, and there were some fees for that advertising. And there wasn't enough money in the balance at the time to cover all the advertising. So Amazon charged the credit card for the excess. So that's why you have to have a credit card on file. You can see payment summary. If you click here, it'll show you all the history of all your payments. Your case log is if there's this is mostly messages from Amazon. If they give you a warning of some sort, like, hey, your package that you shipped in weighed more than 50 pounds and you didn't have a label on it that says heavy, or if one of your products has a high return rate, they're going to notify you, or maybe there's some other issue with your account or something they don't like. This is a very important area to make sure that you stay on top of and answer these as fast as you can. Now up here you have your catalog. This is where you're going to add products. We'll go into that later. The inventory, as you manage your inventory, you manage your FBA inventory, which is what Amazon ships for you. So this is your overall inventory. They have some planning. Add products again. It's the same as this one. Add products. Add products via upload means that it's a more advanced way. You can use what's called a flat file. It's kind of like an Excel file. So if you have thousands of products that you're going to be selling on Amazon, you don't want to sit here and type them in one by one by one. You can use the upload feature. It's a little bit more advanced. These are your reports on your inventory. This is just some more ways to sell globally, to manage shipments, and here is to upload and manage videos. The pricing is where you can actually see all your pricing health, and you have like a pricing dashboard where you can adjust the pricing of all your products. So like if I click here to this pricing dashboard, it'll show you that I had the buy box, which means I was the main person when someone says add to cart. I had that spot. In the manage orders, I kind of showed you a little bit of that. You can manage returns. So here, if you had some returns, this is mostly for FBM. All this A to Z guarantee claims is mostly for people that are shipping themselves and not letting Amazon do it. So if you're doing FBA, you'll really never have any of these A to Z claims. So you might have FBA returns. So you can click here and you can see that these two returns came back, and you can see the reason. The customer said this wasn't as described on the website. Sometimes that's just baloney. The customer just says that so they can get free shipping back to you. This one looks like something happened. It wasn't delivered by the date. This is Amazon's fault, so they won't penalize you for this if it's their fault. But you can see these, and you can click on these and see the details of them. So you can manage the returns here. You can do all kinds of stuff there. Under advertising, this is where you can set up, like I said, all your discounts. We're going to go into detail on these. There's a specific module on almost each one of these later on. Stores is where you can actually set up a storefront on Amazon. You can actually, you're going to need to be what's called brand registered. And brand registry is once you have a trademark, once you've filed a trademark, usually in the country you're selling in. There are some ways to shortcut that a little bit, but usually it's in the country that you're selling in. You can then get what's called brand registry on Amazon. And brand registry allows you to do a lot of cool stuff. It allows you to add videos to your listing. It allows you to monitor people that are doing bad things to your account, that are copying you or doing counterfeit things. It gives you some extra advertising abilities. It's a really cool thing that you want to take a look at and make sure you get that trademark. We talk about that in another module. But once you have that, you can come in here and you can set up these little storefronts that kind of look like this, and you can send people to your storefront. These are really good if you have a lot of products. If you only have one product, it's not going to benefit you too much. But once you really have a lot of products in a brand, that could be really good. You'll have a link that looks like this, Amazon.com, with your brand on it. So it's a very friendly address, and they'll show you some stats that they don't show you other places. So it's pretty cool, but you can't get this unless you're brand registered. Reports, they'll show you all the payment reports here, so you can click on this, and you can go through, and like this says that the transfers for $212 is scheduled for September 16th, and this number will change throughout the day. And then they'll show you all the breakdown of the fees that they're charging here, the refunds, and all that kind of stuff. They'll show you here like this unavailable balance. It's money they're holding in reserve. It's your money, but they keep it just as an extra protection, kind of like a deposit on hand. You can go here and see the business reports. Business reports kind of tell you how many people are looking at each one of your listings. So you can come in here, and like one of the ones I like to use a lot is this one right here, detailed page sales and traffic by child item, this one right here. And so you can click on that, and you can choose a date range. So this is for the month, for a month period here. But you can see each product, and it will show you sessions or how many times a unique person came to the listing. So 328 in that 1 month period, right, of these dates right here, 328 people came to the listing. This accounted for 46% of all the views of all my products. The page views, that means 418, so it was looked at 418 times. So what that means is 418 minus 328 is about 90. So there's about 90 times people looked at my page, went and looked at something else, and came back to my page. That's why that's higher. That's the page view percentage. I had the buy box 100% of the time, so that means nobody else was selling this product. This is how many were ordered. This is how many were ordered by business. This is my conversion rate. So unit session percentage, it tells you that pretty much 27.44% of the people that came to this page ended up buying the product. That's a pretty good number there. You want to have anything below 7% is considered problematic in most categories. So, but if you can get that in the 10 to 15% range, that's good. 27% is even better. And this will show you the total sales from business and regular. Now this is just for this particular product. This is not any kind of advertising or anything. This is for this product. So 88 items were ordered, and you can see the business to business. 2 of them were ordered by people under a business account. I'll show you this for all the other products too. And you have other reports here. You have advertising reports, so we'll talk about that later, but you can come in here and get all your reports for all your ads and different things, but we'll go into detail in this in another module. You can get fulfillment reports where you can come in here and see where Amazon's been shipping stuff to and how they're shipping it, and get all kinds of reports there. It's pretty good, all these different things. We'll talk about that later. The performance report, this account health is very important when you want to make sure you stay on top of. You want to make sure this order defect rate stays under 1%, so that's why it's very important. If you're shipping yourself and not using Amazon, it's FBA, you want to make sure you're not late if you're doing FBM, shipping them from your own warehouse. They'll penalize you if you're late. You also have negative feedbacks and chargebacks and all kinds of stuff here, product compliance things. If you get violations for violating someone's intellectual property or whatever, safety violations. These things will come up in here. So you want to really monitor this. It'll show you voice of the customer is typically when customers are complaining about something. You can see here like give you an overall list breakdown. These are really important because these can affect your buy box. It can affect a whole lot of things. You can see the feedbacks. Remember on the first page earlier, it showed us there's like 6 of them or something. I'll show you how many in the last certain days, and then you can come in here and you can read what the people said. Now remember, these are not product reviews; these are seller feedbacks. And so then there's return reports and tax library. So there's quite a bit in here as well. Then the App Store is, if you click on the App Store and hit Discover Apps, this will show you some other software tools. I mean, you have Helium 10, so it's really pretty much all you need. But occasionally, there might be some sort of tax, special tax, advanced tax software or something you might be interested in. So these are ones that Amazon has kind of vetted. This will light up and have a number by it if you have a notification or something important. So you always want to pay attention to that. But that's pretty much the main things here that you need to know about Seller Central. There's a whole bunch of links down here. Now, one important area that you want to make sure you know is see this Get Support. It will actually allow you to contact Amazon. So if you have a problem or a question, something's wrong with your listing, you can hit Get Support. And they're going to try to first, so you don't have to talk to a human. They have people in the United States, South Dakota, and Seattle mostly. They have customer service in Costa Rica. A lot of it comes out of the Philippines and India. India is the biggest area for English-speaking people. And so they try to prevent you from talking to a human, try to answer the question. You cannot call Amazon support. There's not like there is an 800 number, but you can call, but they don't publicize it. They don't like you calling that. But you can come in here and you can hit a button, and they will call you like almost within seconds. Or you can send an email, or you can chat with them. Your case log, it's going to be any past things that you opened up. Like here, we had another account issue. We had to get brand approval for something. But anytime you need support, you're just going to hit that Get Support button and go through the process here to actually try to get help. They also have so if you can't find the solution, you can hit Get Support right there. And like this is what I was showing you. If it's selling on Amazon, you can click here. Then they're going to ask you to refine it. And say you had a problem with your page. You can hit Product Listings. Let's say there's something wrong with your product page. You hit Product Page. And they're going to ask you which one you want to update, and they'll walk you through the process. But if you can't, if none of these answer your question, you can just come down to Other Issues. And this is where they let you make a suggestion or do tax questions or report a violation if someone's doing something wrong. You have account stuff here where you can ask stuff about your account. That's the business-to-business one. Fulfillment by Amazon here is where you can, if there's problems with removals or inventory or something like that, you can ask them to investigate that. So you can see here that you're going to go through this process. It kind of used to be a lot easier where you could just message them right away, but now they want to make you go through these processes to try to answer your question before you get to a human. So, but take a look at that, and that'll answer most of your questions in there. So, yeah, that's I think most of what you need to know here. And like I said, we're going to go into detail more, like how to add a product, how to create your listing, how to ship into Amazon, how to do advertising. We'll go into a lot more detail on these in later modules. So that's your overview of Seller Central, and I look forward to seeing you in the next module. We'll see you then.